Flosstube. Welcome to my end of year 2024, or I think how I'm going to title it, 2025 WIP Parade. I am coming at you after the new year with stats, WIPs, and WIPs. I've already released a finish parade, so if you're interested in what I finished this year, it is my last video. I talk about plans as well, but this is strictly going to be my WIPs, what I'm taking into the year 2025, and I will talk a little bit as I go about statistics, about what I'd like to finish this year, etc. My name's Cameron, by the way. This is a channel about cross-stitch. Flosstube is just a community where we talk about fiber arts, mostly cross-stitch. Sometimes I talk about knitting, crochet, other things that I have going on. And yeah, WIP parades is like obviously huge for finding channels. So if you are new here and this is your first time seeing this, welcome. I am 29 years old. I just turned 29 in September. I have been cross-stitching since 2014, 2013, here or there. I got into Flosstube and really dived in deep with cross-stitch in 2021, towards the end of 2021. And I started my channel in 2022. Actually, I missed my Flosstube anniversary. I think my second year of Flosstube anniversary was this past November. So I've only been doing this for about 2 years. I love to stitch on so many different things, which will be very apparent as I go through my WIP parade. A WIP is just a work in progress. That means it is a piece of cross stitch, needlework, whatever you want to call it, that I have in progress. It is not yet finished. You can see some finished pieces behind me. Those are actually finished. A little bit more about me. I live in Virginia. I live in Northern Virginia currently. I'm from South Central Virginia originally. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my partner Connor and my cat Vindaloo, who is sitting here looking out the window like a creep. I am a content writer, full-time, work from home. It's not that exciting, but I really spend a lot of my time stitching. I do that because I want to. I prioritize it. I don't have kids. I have a little bit of a social life, you know what I mean? But like, I love stitching. So my favorite thing to do is to be home doing my hobbies. Luckily, my partner is very much wired the same way. His hobby is video games. So we get to sit on this couch together and do that every single night together. And if that's the rest of my life, I will be very fulfilled and happy with that. Before I get into the WIPs, I want to give one disclaimer. I do this on all of my WIP parades, so if you're not new here, you know what I'm gonna say. If you have an issue with how many WIPs I have, if you feel any type of way, in a negative way, and you want to leave a comment, I'm gonna save you some time. Don't do that. I'll just delete it. This is like a fun zone. We're just showing you WIPs. Obviously, you clicked on a WIP parade, so if you don't want to see a bunch of WIPs, you are not being forced to watch this. So, disclaimer I had to put out there. The beautiful thing about hobbies and art and crafting and all of the things is that we all are different. We all are wired differently. We're all different types of stitchers, right? Like, I think people talk a lot about product versus process, and I think that is more of a spectrum, and I think like I fall somewhere in that spectrum sometimes, and it depends on the project and all of the things, and so wanted to put that disclaimer out there. Some quick stats I'm going to throw at you right now. I have stitched 159,762 stitches in the year of 2024. I'm gonna put that number on the screen. I'm gonna let you digest that. And I am, again, going to remind you, I don't have kids. I work from home. I really don't have a lot of other hobbies, and I prioritize this, and I love doing it. So I'm gonna say that. I also enjoy tracking my stitches. I love doing that. If that's something that you don't like to do, you do not have to do it. I will say ignorance is bliss. Am I right? But for me, I really love tracking my stuff. I like making goals. So if you enjoy that, even if you don't do that yourself and you just enjoy watching it, I'm here. I gotcha. There are several floss tubes out there that you can watch that you will enjoy. Some people are way more relaxed about it, and some people are like me where I love to have those numbers. So I've done quite a few stitches. I will say, out of those stitches, I set out this year to not start a bunch of things. I did start more than I intended to. However, I did not start as many things as I did last year. I don't remember the exact number. I'll put the number of what I started last year here. And I will say that this year I only started 37 things. Now, 12 of those things out of the 37 are finished. They are completed. I had a lot of SAFs this year. SAF stands for start and finish. So it's fine. And then I also got a total of 26 finishes for the year. So 26, about less than half of those were starts from this year. I feel good about that. I think that I was around the same amount for last year finishes, so that's good. And then I'm bringing 57 WIPs into 2025. 57 is not the number I want to necessarily like be at, but it's where I am. So I definitely came into 2024 with more WIPs. So I'm proud that I did WIP down technically. And some of that was UFOing too, right? I will say that is one thing I never talk about on my channel is UFOing. I think that it's like an internalized like guilt thing that I have going on with UFOing something, but at the same time, I UFO it because I'm not happy with the project for some sort of reason. Either it's not really my style anymore, the fabric is not fun to stitch on, I maybe don't like, you know, the colors, or I'm just not exactly satisfied with the project and I will just UFO it. So I don't really talk about them. If I feel so inclined, I may in the future make a special little Flosstube extra where I take you through like my shame pile of UFOs, but you will not be seeing UFOs in this video. So yeah, of those 159,700 blah, blah, blah stitches that I did this year, over 50,000 stitches were done on new starts. Which sucks, because when you put that in perspective, and I think I talked about this in my last video, if I had not started anything and every time I went to work on something new that I started last year, I could have finished Consider the Lilies by now. Okay. So that's not good. That's my cat making bread, making biscuits, whatever you want to say. Anywho, so those are some quick numbers, but now I'm going to go ahead and start my WIP parade. The first thing I'm going to show are not actually going to be counted towards my WIP number. These are my full coverage projects. I only have 3 to show you. I'm going to show them to you very quickly. Technically, yes, this is cross stitch, but to me it's a completely different hobby. The first full coverage I'll show you, this was a start from this year. This is, what is this? Rose Library. This is charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch, and yeah, it's gorgeous. I'm stitching this on 28 count easy grid, 2/110 stitch, and that actually goes for all of my full coverages. So I won't say that again, but I started this September 27th of this year. This was kind of like a birthday start for me. It looks so good. I will say this year I would like to work on my full coverages more. I want to bring these out more. I don't have a strict like stitch count goal on any of these, but yeah, so that is my first full coverage. My second full coverage, this is Arcadia. This is artwork by Bob Doucette, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And that's where I am. I really didn't, it's not that much progress, but it is what it is. If I have a progress photo or like where it was at my last WIP parade, I will insert that in. I love this though. And then this next one, I don't think I've ever shown it on my channel, so a sneaky little full coverage. This is called Dream Girl Evil Bea. This is charted by the Sewing Shop, Kaylee Tent Stitch, and that is my very small start that I only worked on for one day. So those are my full coverages. If you remember seeing other full coverages on my channel, that means I've UFO'd them, and that's okay. So these are my only existing ones that I count as like a WIP in my full coverage zone. Okay, so now this is the real start of my WIP parade. I am not doing this in any order. I'm not doing it in categories. I literally just pulled out my project bags, ironed everything that I could, laid it all down, and put my project bags in the exact same order. So yeah, this is a random ordered WIP parade. So the first WIP I'm going to show you, this one I think I've only shown once on my channel, maybe twice. This is a kit, a old vintage dimensions kit that I purchased from eBay. I was inspired to buy and start this from Jessica over at Jed X Stitch. She stitched this little guy on a like piece of beautiful, probably persimmon or hibiscus linen, maybe brick, one of those colors by Fiber on a Whim, I swear. Go over to her Instagram and look, but she stitched this and I was like, I'm obsessed. This was released in 1995 and I started it on the kit Ada. It is so, look how stiff this is. I kind of regret it. I kind of wish that I had done something fun and stitched it on some fun linen like she did, but it's fine. I only worked on this probably for 2 days this year, but I got some of that back stitching in the face end, and now I'm a little bit more motivated to keep going, because at first it was just these blocks of stitching or colors. So yeah, that is the first WIP. My second WIP, this is Iron Maiden by D's 20 Stitches and Uncanny Kari. I think this was their first spring fling box that they did. I got it after the fact and I started it September 28th, 2023. This was my birthday start last year. I've only stitched on it like 3 days this year. Or no, maybe 3 total days, I can't remember. And it does not have that much progress this year, but I did technically touch this. This is stitched on a 36 count Fizzy Pop linen by Brennan Needle, with the called for Brennan Needle flosses, which I don't know if they're available anymore. I don't think any of this is available anymore. So you will have to kit this up yourself with Stash possibly, or check Brennan Needle's website. My next WIP, this is Pumpkin King by Mama Witch X Stitch. And I started this on January 2nd of 2023. I've stitched on it a total of 4 days and it's about 27%. And this is where I got to. I only worked on this, I think, 1 day in October this year. I don't have this slotted for a finish this year or in 2025, but I would like to get some decent progress on it. That is stitched on, this is stitched on a 32 count natural linen, I think by Zweigart, with all the called for DMC 2/2. My next WIP, this is actually my oldest WIP. So this is the Dutch, I will put the name of it here. It is a Modern Folk Embroidery stitch along from 2022. I started this January 10th, 2022. I've been working on it quite a bit because this is like a stream and stitch project I have going on. So I work on it while I watch Peaky Blinders, and this is sitting at 73.1% complete. This is a huge project. I love it. Here it is. I can't even fit it in the frame. Okay, so this year, the progress you're gonna see is mainly all right here. A little bit, I think, on the above page, I can't remember, but I'm stitching this on a 32 count piece of Zweigart linen that I tea dyed myself. I'm stitching with one strand of DMC 310 over 2. This is just too big to even show, but it's amazing. How am I gonna frame this? Absolutely no clue. But yeah, this is mainly where I've been working. I will continue to work on this, and this will be a finish in 2025. I hope to finish it by February, but I have a feeling it might be more March, April, but we'll see. My next WIP, this is Consider the Lilies by Heartstring Samplery. This is the pattern. I started this September 1st of 2023 for Lauren the New Hampshire Stitcher's BAP to School Sal. BAP stands for Big Ass Project. So, and that's what this is. Like I said, this is about 50,000 stitches. And if I had just worked on this and not started anything last year, it would be done by now. But that's not the case. So here's my progress. This is stitched on a 40 count piece of Winter Wren by Fox and Rabbit. And I'm stitching it with all the called for DMC 1 over 2, and it's like teeny tiny little stitches. Oh, but it's so beautiful. My goal for this year is not that big. I would like to get it to 10%, which is a lot of stitching, but if I also kind of want to reach for it when I'm craving a new start, so that it gets some more progress. Yeah. My next WIP is a Night Spirit Studio pattern. This is called Farmer's Free Fall. It is one of her woodcut series, and I started this January 2nd of 2023, and I am at 53% complete on this. I'm stitching this on 28 count natural linen, 2 over 1 tent stitch with 310 DMC. This will definitely be a finish this year. Look how beautiful it looks, like far away. I finished one of her other ones this year, and as soon as this one's done, I will start another one because I want them all on my wall. My next WIP, another Halloween WIP. This is another one of my 2022 WIPs. This is Black Cats and Spooky Bats by Park Harper Bart. I got this from Evertotes as a PDF. I started October 31st, 2022, and I'm stitching it on 40 count Peanut Brittle by Roxy Flosstube, which is not available anymore. And I'm at 56% complete. This will be a finish this year for sure. Stitching it with all the called for Roxy Flosstube as well, 1 over 2. I love this. I feel like I got a decent amount of progress on this year. It's definitely like not that big of a chart, but it is a lot of stitching. I don't know, it's kind of deceiving, but it looks so good. So, yep. All right, now switching to Christmas. This is a very random order, but this is the Christmas Wreath by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I started this December 13th of 2023, and I'm stitching it on 28 count Hot Cocoa Lugana by Stitch Me. And that is where I'm at. I'm stitching it with mostly the called for DMC 2 over 2, and I'm sitting at 12% on this. So it's looking pretty good. Hopefully the lighting's okay. Yeah, that's really pretty. I have like a little bit of natural light coming through. It's kind of cloudy day, but it's so cute. My goal for this, I think next year is to just get it to, or this year is, I think to get it to like 25%. I would really love to do, but This is more of a stretch goal for me. My next WIP, this is what I'm calling my sister's stocking or Hannah's stocking, but it is a stocking by Cooler Design Studio. You can find this as a PDF on their website, or it's an out of print cross stitch books. You can also find it. I started this September 20th, 2023, and I am sitting at 26%. So I actually got this to 25% this year, which is great. I didn't get like a lot of progress on it in the grand scheme of things this year, but it's looking good. I'm stitching this on 25 count Potato Lugana. I think it's by Zweigart. But yeah, no back stitching yet or anything. Obviously I'm saving that for last, but I would like to get this to 50% this year, which is a pretty significant amount of stitching. But when I pick this up, I feel like I work really fast on it. I think it's the 25 count. And I am working with 3 strands of DMC. Also probably a good thing to point out. But yeah. My next WIP, this is something I started this year. I started this January 31st of 2024. This is Anne Richardson by My Sister Samplers. I started this for Carrie for Tiger Lily's birthday stitch along, and I'm stitching it with there is a Vicky Clayton Silks conversion, but I'm stitching it with Mose Sale silk and like some color and cotton and things like that. But anyways, I'm stitching this on 40 count flannel flower by Fox and Rabbit with 1 strand. This was one of those I worked on New Year's Eve this year. This is sitting at 25%, which is awesome. And I would like to get it, I don't know, maybe to 50% this year would be cool. My next WIP, this is Good Intentions by Kathy Barrick. This I've been inspired to stitch and to start by several of my friends. They all have this as a WIP or a finish already. I'm stitching this on 36 count aged paper, I think by Color and Cotton, and I started this April 11th, 2024. I'm sitting at about 16% done. And I want this to be a finish this year. I'm doing my own color conversion of stash flosses, mostly Color and Cotton, a little bit of Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, bunch of stuff's thrown in there. Yeah, and then I switched out the dog for a cat because, yeah. I think Vindaloo's perfect fur color is DMC 844, if I'm not mistaken, is what I used. But yeah, this looks awesome. I love it. Can't wait to get back to it. My next WIP is another Kathy Barrick. This is White Winter Moth, and this is actually slotted in January to be a finish, which is, we'll see. I'm gonna try my best, but I started this January 13th with my friend Megan, the Seattle Stitcher. We started it in 2023. I'm stitching it on 40 count Shy Love You by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and this is sitting at 38.2%. I finally got this to work in markup this year, and so I know where I'm at, which is great. I'm stitching with my own color conversion of Classic Colorworks mostly, and some of the DMC called for. This has 6,124 stitches left on it. I have to do that this month, so we'll see. Okay, there's a little bit of a lighting change because time has passed. I was interrupted, but and if you hear my cat screaming, she's screaming for treats. My next WIP is this is The Colors of Mexico by Jan Hicks Creates. I started this December 31st of 2023, and I am stitching this on 40 count Lightly Roasted Not Salted by Bestitch Me, and I have a very small start on this. This was kind of my new year, new start last year, but like I think I started it, I don't remember. Oh yeah, I started on New Year's Eve. So I'm stitching this with the Vicky Clayton Silk pack for this. And it is only sitting at 1.7% complete. I did not pull this out but once more after I started it, so that sucks. But my goal for this year would just be to get this to 10%. So yep. My next WIP, this is Caught in the Swirl by Kathy Barrick. This was a market release this year. I do have the cover photo right here. I'm stitching this in all the called for DMC 1/2 on a piece of 40 count Bestitch Me in the color Lunar. And that's where I'm at. This looks so good. I love it. This is definitely going to be finished in 2025. I love it. Caroline from the Thread Gremlins finished this year, and every time I see it on the Thread Gremlins videos, I am very jealous that it's already done, and I want this to be done. So I'm gonna work on that for sure. This is my largest WIP that I started this past year. This is Anne Hansen by My Sister Samplers. I kitted this up at StitchCon with my friend Marjorie over at Marjorie Made, and I started this June 17th, 2024. I only stitched on this for one day, and it's sitting at 1.3% as well. Is where that is at. I have a hanging thread and it's still in the hoop, and that's just how it is. I am stitching this with the Called For Silk that came in a pack that I got it from StitchCon, and I'm stitching this on Moonstone by Fiber on a Whim in 40 count. I love the border on this one. It's so pretty. Also love the color of this linen. So my next WIP, this is the Pumpkin House by Hello from Liz Matthews. Now when I hold it up, it is going to look like a finish because it is of the bottom portion. That is what I worked on and finished this year, but technically this is still a WIP. In 2025, I'm going to start the upper portion on a different piece of fabric, and my goal, I think, is to hit, let's see, this is sitting at 32%, so yeah, I want to hit 50% this year. Would be awesome. So I'm stitching this on 40 count, Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm stitching this with the Forbidden Fiber Co. floss conversion that was put together by Tiger Lily Designs. That looks so good. I'm so glad it's done, and I can't wait to start the upper portion. This WIP is Birdman Cometh by Little Robin Designs. I started this June 21st, 2023. I'm stitching it on 20 count Lipstick Ada by Fiber on a Whim, and it's sitting at 20% right now. I didn't get a whole lot of progress on this. This was kind of a problem child to begin with. It looks fantastic, but I had to frog quite a bit on this. I made mistakes in this upper portion and had to frog quite a bit of that out. I had to frog the start of this portion. It was just a whole thing. I started this when I was like not doing well physically as well. So it was just a whole thing, but I love it now. I have fixed the things I need to fix so far. I did start this with Michaela from Cinematic Stitches here on Flosstube, and honestly, I would like to see where she is at on this. I don't remember. I feel like she might be further than me, but I love it. It looks so good. This is not going to be a finish this year, I do not think. It is sitting again at 20%, so I'd love to get it to 25%, which is not too much more. If I get it more than that, that's great. But my next WIP is actually on the same piece of fabric, which I'm hoping that will work out. Obviously you can see that that's here. And then this is Study in Nature by the Artsy Housewife. This is my tiny little start. I think that's the right way up. I don't know. I started this August 22nd of this year, 2024, and it's sitting at 3.7%. My goal for this is to get it to 10% this year. It's not going to be a finish. I don't think. I am stitching this with not the called for DMC. I picked my own DMC based off of what I liked. So obviously I will, if any of you are interested in that conversion, I can send it to you, but I'll probably make it more available like once I stitch more into this, I think. My next WIP is another BAP that I impulsively started this year, which is fine. This is Turkish Delight by Rosewood Manor. I started this June 23rd, 2024 with my friends Bridget, the Museum Stitcher, and Maddie over at Kitty Stitch. If you want to see some progress on this, go check out Maddie at Kitty Stitch. She has so much done on it, and it is so beautiful. It's on Diva by Picture This Plus, which is like hot pink. I am stitching this on 36 count raspberry linen by Fiber on a Whim. And this is my small start. I'm stitching this with my own DMC conversion, which again, I'm happy to provide, but obviously I'll make it more available once I have more in this. This is probably sitting at less than 1%. And yeah, my goal for this year is to just at least, I would like to get it to 10%, but I have a feeling that's like a lot of stitches, so we'll see. This next WIP is the Four Seasons by Barbara Anna. I finished the first Fall Girl and I've started the Winter Girl. I'm stitching these seasonally, so the winter lass will be done by the end of February. And then I'll do the spring and summer and so on and so forth. So this will be a finish in 2025. The way I have it, it should be finished by the end of August. I'm stitching this on 20 count Brown Sugar Ada by Fiber on a Whim with all the called for DMC except for the skin. I'm doing my own conversion. I'm making them all like elemental, fairy, pixie, like people things. So obviously you can see I've made the Winter Girl. She's kind of got this like purpley, icy skin, and then the Fall Girl I made more of like a bark, kind of wood color. I love it. Yeah, other than that is all called for DMC. This is sitting at 30%, so that's super awesome. But this will be a finish this year. This is All Are Equal in Death by Modern Folk Embroidery. I started this October 1st, 2023, and it is sitting at 31.4% done. This will be a finish this year. I think I have it slotted to finish in like November. This is such a fall project to me, and I'm stitching this on 36 count Earth by Fiber on a Whim. And I'm stitching that with Mo's Sale Silks. Ooh, yeah, I love holding it far away. That's so pretty. I love it. My friend Bridget, the Museum Stitcher, finished this in 2024. So if you want to go check hers out, it is phenomenal. And I'm sad I didn't finish mine. This is one of my oldest WIPs. This is Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. I started this February 15th, 2022, and it is stitched on 40 count Blush by Zweigart. And I'm sitting at 14.6%. I still have 40,000 stitches left on this. So needless to say, this will not be a finish this year. I have a beautiful hanging thread. I'm stitching this with 2 pink DMCs that I chose. If you're interested, I can let you know. But yeah, I didn't work on this a whole lot this year. I think maybe one day I worked on this, which is, I did touch all of my WIPs except for one. And when I get to that one, I will let you know, but I did technically touch this year. It's so pretty, and I'm mad that I don't get progress on it. I know my friend Marjorie and I have talked about working on this together. I would really like to get progress this year, and maybe aiming for a finish on this in 2026. But that's a lot of stitches. I feel like I would need to do like 20,000 stitches this year to make that happen though. So I don't think that's really that realistic, but we'll see. My next WIP is Bearing Gifts by Kathy Barrick. I started this September 22nd, 2024, and this is this is sitting at 25%, which is awesome. I worked on this in my New Year's Eve 12 by 12, and which was really a 10 by 12, because that's all I got to, but this looks so good. I'm doing my own stash conversion. This will be a finish, so I should be putting a 5 there. This is being stitched on Mocha by Bestitch Me and 20 count Aida. I love 20 count Aida. It's definitely a little bit more pink. You can kind of see it here, but it looks really good. My next WIP, this is the Artsy Housewife. This is Weeds and Wildflowers. This was sold as a kit by Evertote this year, and I purchased that box. And I love this. I did work on this as well in my New Year's Eve 12 by 12. I started it July 6, 2024, and it is sitting at about 10%. That's not the right way up. I'm stitching this with the Roxy Floss Co, and I'm stitching it on 20 count Buttercup Aida by Roxy Floss Co. It's very like, yeah, that's better. It's definitely yellow, nice and warm and buttery. It looks so good. I love it. I would like this to be a finish this year, even though I don't have that much done on it. It is a small enough project. It has about a little over 7,500 stitches left. So that's a lot to do, but it's fine. My next WIP, this is actually one of the first goal projects that I'll be buddy stitching with my friend Bridget, the museum stitcher. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know that we buddy stitched Vanity Sampler by Hello from Liz Matthews together this past year, which was a finish. If you missed my last video, it's finished. It will not be in this WIP parade. So, but our first one that we're gonna do 2 this year, and they're both by Hello from Liz Matthews. The first one is Secret Garden, and this was a Patreon pattern that was released this year, and that is where I'm at on it. I'm sitting at about 6% on this, and I will be stitching on this every single month until it's finished in May, and then in June we will be doing another project, which I will let you know what that is shortly. I started this April 20th of 2024, and I think I've only worked on it for 2 days. So, oh, this is stitched on 40 count. It's an Atomic Ranch linen. I think it's called Copper Penny, and I'm using the muted colorway. This pattern comes in 2 different colorways, and I'm using the muted one. There is a brighter colorway that I think Liz herself model stitched and is on her Instagram. Continuing on with the Liz Matthews WIPs, this is Plaid Bird. This was also a Patreon release by her this year, and I started this October 19th, 2024 with my friend Bridget. I recently stitched on it again, and I got it to 10% before the year was up, which is great. So I would also like this to be a finish this year. It's small enough. I will say the border is like almost full coverage, so like it's gonna be a lot of stitching, but I want to do it. I don't remember what this is stitched on, unfortunately. I don't have the card on anymore. It is a Bestitch Me 20 count. It was a fabric of the month. So sorry. My next two WIPs are stitched on the same fabric, so I'm going to show them to you at the same time. The first one is Strawberry Harvest. This was actually a restart this year. I originally started on 40 count Ancient by Picture This Plus. I did not like working on that fabric, so I switched it. Oh, here's what the pattern looks like. Sorry. And I started this, let's see, January 2nd of 2023. I think I restarted it at some point this spring, and I am now stitching it on 36 count Heritage by Picture This Plus. And then, hold on, I will show it to you. I'm stitching the raccoon on the exact same piece of fabric, but this is actually from 2022. So I have a 2022 and a 2023 start on the same fabric. And they're both at various stages here. So first, let me show you, this is one of my oldest WIPs. I lost this. If you know the lore, you know the lore. I lost this for over a year. So it actually was like not in one of my WIP parades. I don't remember which one. And then I found it again. This is sitting at 25%. I worked on this for my New Year 12 by 12. My goal is to get this finished this year. And then Strawberry Harvest, this one, I just want to get it to 25% this year. I'll work on it in June probably. Yeah, I think I just want to get it to 25%, get a little bit done on it. But this is one of my oldest WIPs, so I definitely want this to be finished. This is technically was supposed to be a gift for my sister. By the time it's done, will I want to give it to her? Probably not. I will want to keep it for myself, but we'll see. This was also worked on in my New Year's Eve 12 by 12. It was actually the first one I worked on because I only had like 50 stitches to get it to the next percentile goal, which was 10%. It is now at 10%. This is Strawberry Goose Witch by Fine Frog Stitching. I'm stitching it on 14 count Pistachio Ada by Fiber on a Whim. I started this June 11th, 2024 for Marjorie's Strawberry Moon Sow. And honestly, I want to do all of these types of patterns by Fine Frog Stitching. Like, they have so many animals and like a portrait type vibe, and I want to do them all. I'm just a sucker for them. So when I finish this one, which it will be a finish this year, I may slot in another one because I'm kind of obsessed. I know there's like a badger, there's a frog, there's a bunch of them. They're so cute. Speaking of 40 count Ancient by Picture This Plus, I am stitching the little brown bat on that as well. This one I'm too far on to restart. So I started this October 19th, 2023. And I'm doing all the called for floss except for this variegated floss. I subbed that out. I think I subbed both of the variegated, the over dyed out for Color and Cottons. So anyways, this is where I'm at. I also worked on this in my New Year's 12 by 12 to get it to 25%. So this year I would like to get this to 50%. It definitely will not be a finish. I'm slow going on these. These Cottage Garden Samplings ones are way more stitching than you think they are. And now they're coming out with a Year in the Woods Part 2 this year, which is what this series was. And that's not good for me, but that's okay. We'll see. My next WIP, this is All More Leopard by Lindy Stitches. This was part of her Endangered Species Club this year that I signed up for. I don't think that these are released yet. They will probably be released in 2025. But I started this March 22nd of 2024. I'm sitting at 37.8% complete, and I have about 4,500 stitches left, which doesn't look like it. But it's because I have essentially almost all fill-in left. So I'm stitching this on the called for. I think it's a 32 count Zweigart Silver Moon by Zweigart. And I'm stitching it with almost all the called for DMC 2/2. I did switch out like the corally pink for a hot pink. I put in like a lime green instead of a yellow, stuff like that. But for the most part, everything else is called for. This will be a finish, I hope, in July of this year. My next WIP, this is one of my oldest, one of my most, I'm disappointed with this one the most this year because I really wanted to have this as a finish this year and I just didn't get to it. I didn't prioritize it the way I needed to, but this is Mary Morgan's by Fox and Rabbit. I started this March 8th of 2022 and it is sitting at 65.1% complete. It has about almost 11,000 stitches left. So it is stitched on a 40 count platinum linen by Zweigart. All the called for DMC 1/2. And I am still in this center motif. This is what killed me. I'm stuck in that motif. And I think that if you do start this and you start in the middle, on one hand, that's probably a good thing because you get it over with. But on the other hand, you also might get stuck like I did. But, you know, you might be just a completely different stitcher than me and you might fly through it. But I am just ready to not be stitching on that rose anymore. So this will be a finish this year, mark my words. And honestly, I know that it will be, once I'm out of this full coverage, because this is full coverage. Once I'm out of this area, this side will go so much faster and the bottom's going to go so much faster. And I know that. So it'll be good. Another old WIP, this is Cryptids by the Witchy Stitcher. It was a stitch along from 2022. Maybe, yeah, I think 2022. No, maybe 2021. I started it January 26, 2022. This is sitting at 70% complete. So it's very close to 75%. This is being stitched on 28 count natural linen with the called for DMC 2/2. And this will be a finish this year. I left off here last time I picked this up. I did work on this a couple days this year, and I think I only got like 2 cryptids done. So my next WIP is 10,000 Lakes by Carolyn Manning. I will put a picture up of what the original pattern looks like, and then I'm going to put a picture up of what my color conversion looks like. I'm stitching this as a gift for my father, and I started this May 1st, 2024 for Manning May. And I'm stitching it on 20 count Cappuccino Ada by Fiber on a Whim. I'm sitting at 7%. So this year my goal is to get this to 10%. Honestly, maybe 25. I would like to get, I think 25% I would like to get to. Sorry if the color is kind of washed out. I don't know if that's better or not. We're starting to lose daylight. It's fine. I did my own DMC color conversion. If you are interested, I can provide, but my dad really likes these types of colors, so and also likes this type of geometric shape. So I did a custom color conversion and I love it. It is very soothing to stitch on. I just need to get back to it. So my next WIP is a Jet X stitch pattern. This is the only one I have as a WIP, and I'm controlling myself, not starting more, but I started this March 29th of 2024. This is called Dragonborn, and I'm stitching it on 40 count Boneyard Linen by Bestitch Me, and this is sitting at 11% complete. I'm stitching this with a Dying for Sass variegated cotton floss that I don't remember the name of at the moment. I only stitched on this for 3 days. This will be a finish this year. I'm going to slot it for a couple of months to kind of get some progress on to be finished by the end of the year, like in December, I think. It's so pretty. I want to finish this so that I can start more of her patterns. And I think that that's motivating. So my next WIP is the only WIP I did not touch in 2024. And when it's revealed what it is, some of you are gonna be like, why the heck did you not touch that? I don't know. I have no answer for you. So this is Beatrix Potter, Quaker by Stitchy Box Samplers. I started this January 30th of 2023, and I'm stitching this with my pink on pink conversion. It is 40 count peony linen by Fiber and a Whim with Dinky Dyes pink tourmaline floss. And again, there's going to be no progress picture because it's still sitting at the same place it was at the beginning of the year. I will say a little insight. Bridget and I almost picked this for our goal stitch this year, but we decided to do something a little different, to pick two WIPs instead. And I think that next year we're going to probably, like in 2026, we'll probably pick one project again. I don't know. That's kind of what we've been talking about, but we didn't pick this, which is fine. My goal for this year is to, I think I'd like to get this to 10%. It's sitting at 6% right now. I think I'm going to also stitch on it in February, because like I like to stitch on all my pink things in February, so we'll see. My next WIP is Sea Witch by Nora Corbett. One of my Flosstube viewers got me this as a birthday gift, so thank you so much. And I am stitching it on the fabric that she picked, which is great. It's Da Vinci Ada 16 count by Picture This Plus. I am sitting at almost 50% complete on this. This will be a finish this year, for sure. I think I'm gonna go to the Queen City Stitch Retreat this year, so hopefully this will be on the brag table. My next WIP is Sarah Moon, 1791. This is a Stitchy Box Samplers reproduction, and I started this November 27th, 2023. This is a full moon stitch that some of my friends and I are doing. I have not worked on it since September because goal stitching got in the way, which is fine. This is stitched on 40 count Wild Mint linen by Atomic Ranch. I'm sitting at 20% on this. I actually did a decent amount considering I skipped a couple months of my full moon stitch. I did a DMC conversion of my own that I'm calling the like whimsy goth conversion. Sorry, there's hanging thread. Whatever, is what it is. And yeah, I also, my friend Bridget recharted the center, another hanging thread, the quote on it. This quote says, "Insist on your cup of stars," and that is from Haunting of Hill House, because that show emotionally haunts me. But yeah, I'm gonna keep just pulling this out on the full moon of every month. There is no goal on this in terms of like stitch count. Just pull it out on the full moon and keep doing that every month if possible. This WIP was a recent start. This is Festive Forest by The Blue Flower. I got this as a class PDF for the Jingle Ball this past year, and I started this October 24th, 2024. It is not done, obviously. It is sitting at 14.3%. I have about 10,000 stitches left on this. So, however, I have this slotted to be a finish next year, but I have it slotted for December. So I will try to work on it throughout the year and get it done in December because I really want this finish. It's so pretty. I did my own stash conversion in some of the called for DMCs. Look how beautiful that I'm obsessed. Anyways, this is stitched on 32 count linen by Oak Crown Studios in the color Queen. My next WIP, this is Rose Quaker by Weinberg. This I started April 17th, 2023, and I started it on 36 Count Milk and Honey by Fiber on a Whim. I'm sitting at 11% on this, and yeah, it's a big one. So I'm stitching it with Color and Cotton flosses that I picked for myself. My goal this year is going to be getting this to 25%, but that's a lot. So might be more like 20%, might be more like 18%, but we'll see. It's a stretch goal. So next time I pick this up, I would really like to finish out this motif for sure. And then this one as well. And then move on to keep going this way, I think. My next WIP is by Hello from Liz Matthews. This I think is released now as a pattern, but it was a Patreon pattern when I started it. This is Boost Boucante. I started it October 31st of 2023. And the last time I worked on it was October 31st of 2024. I'm stitching it on 40 count barnwood linen from Picture This Plus. And I'm stitching this along with my friend Bridget, the museum stitcher. And I'm actually using her DMC conversion for the flowers. I think I also changed one of my greens in the leaves because at the time I didn't have the other green, but you know, now I just gotta stick with it, which is fine. This is sitting at 39% complete, and I have about 3,000 stitches left. This is not gonna be a finish this year, I don't think, but I would like to get it to 50% this year, which I usually always pull it out. It's now a tradition to pull it out on Halloween. So another Halloween piece. This is Halloween Quaker by Leela Studio. I started this September 5th, 2022, and this is sitting at 13% complete. I barely touched this year. It did get touched, but it is not a lot of progress. So my goal for this, I would like to touch it this year, maybe 25%, but that's asking a lot, I think. So we'll see. The last time I picked this up was in July, which is like so fun. My next WIP, this will be a finish in 2025, and I have another hanging thread. This is My Flowers by Boomerang Stitches. I started this March 16th, 2024, and it is sitting at 35% complete. And I'm stitching this on a limited edition Atomic Ranch 40 count linen with my own Color and Cottons that I picked. I think I will finish this spring for sure. This is gorgeous. I love, this is such an easy pattern to stitch, but also to pick your own colors for. The called for colors, I did not go that far away from them. It is still the same vibe, but this is a very easy one to just kit up from stash. I'm really enjoying it. So it looks like Pyrex. My next WIP, this is the second goal stitch that Bridget and I picked. This is Autumn Cloche by Hello from Liz Matthews. I started this January 3rd, 2023. It is being stitched on 36 count Affogato linen by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm sitting at 22% complete. I have about 14,700 something stitches left. So I'll be working on this every single month starting in June until December, and it will be a finish. And that is where I'm at. I'm stitching with some of the called for DMC and some of, I thought that was a fuzzy, but it's not. Some stash Color and Cotton as well. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, so Bridget and I, this will be a finish for us if all goes to plan. My next pattern, this is the Misspelled Sampler by Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. I started this February 14th of 2023. I'm sitting at 14% complete. I also decided to not stitch the entire sampler. I'm cutting it to the portion that I really like about the sampler. I like the whole thing, but also I only have so many minutes in the day. I'm stitching with the Called For Classic Colorworks, and I'm stitching it on, I think, 40 count hot cocoa by Bestitch Me. I can barely see the blue stitches in there, but there you go. It's so beautiful. The only color I subbed out was the Weeks orange that she called for. I just used a color in cotton that I had in stash. So I did pick this up this year, and I worked more of the border and started the house because I feel like that house is a beast. So this year I would like to get this to 25%, which I'm about halfway there. My next WIP, this was gifted to me by Kat from Whittier Stitches. This is Abella Filipina, Gaia the Earth Goddess. I started this October 25th, 2023, and it's sitting at 3.9%. My goal this year is to get it to 10%. I started in the middle on a 32 count piece of linen, hemp linen by Jackson Fabric Arts. This is in the color Coral Sands. I got it from Etsy. Here we go. And that is my very sad progress. I did only stitch on this for a day this year, and I put in some of the metallic floss Krynic in there, and it's fun. I need to put more in. I really love this fabric for this. I think it works really well, and I can't wait to work on this some more. My next WIP is actually, technically I didn't touch it because it is an adopted WIP from my friend Bridget, but I'm counting it as a WIP even though I haven't put stitches in it yet. This is the Garden Sampler by Carriage House Samplings, and she not only let me adopt her WIP, but she is letting me use the Roxy Floss Co conversion for it. I know I haven't shown a lot of floss in this, but I'm really excited to use all these. When I'm done with the sampler, I'm going to send all of these back to her so she can have them in stash. But I get to keep the WIP, which is fantastic. So this is where it's sitting at. This is all done by Bridget. It looks so good. Elizabeth Ann this year from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch finished this year, and it looks so good. I saw her stitching it at StitchCon, and I was like, Bridget, I'm gonna put you on blast real quick. Let me show you the back of my stitching. Let me just give you an example here. That's the back of my stitching. I do like quilter's knots with one strand. I definitely travel. And then let's look at her back. Let's do a little bit. Let's, oh no, that needs to be cut, but we'll look at how neat that is. Are you kidding? Bridget, I hope you don't mind. Look how neat. Ugh. It's gonna be cool because this will stay like this, and then the rest of it will be mine. And, you know, I'll definitely update you on the back of this project as I get more progress. My next WIP I started with my friend Marjorie over at Marjorie Made. We started Two Birds by Modern Folk Embroidery on December 29th, 2023. I'm stitching this on 18 count Peach of My Heart Ada by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, and we're both stitching it with a color and cotton floss called Fiesta, and it's this crazy pink and orange variegated floss. This is sitting at 17%. I recently picked this up and I started the other bird head on it. My goal for this year is just to get it to 25%. Small goal, but I feel like this one is easier to like kind of chew off a little bit at a time and get some progress on. So my next WIP should not be a WIP, but I prioritized other things in December, and it's fine. This should be finished. It should have been finished in November, if I'm correct. Possibly. I don't remember. This is the 6th Day of Christmas by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'm stitching all of the trees. I got days 1 through 5 finished this past year, but this one did not make it. So this is stitched on 36 count beanstalk by Fiber on a Whim. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC 1/2. This will be a finish this month in January, and then I will start the 7th day of Christmas, which also needs to be finished. So it's fine. It looks great, so I love it. My next WIP, this will be a finish in January, I predict as well. This is Needle Heathen Biscornu by Bendy Stitchy. I picked this up at Market this past year. I started it June 8th, 2024 at StitchCon, and I last worked on it in December. It's sitting at 31% complete, so I have about 1,300 stitches left, so it will be a finish. And I'm actually picking this for Marjorie's Pick-a-Whip. She's giving 2 prompts a month, but she's giving both of them at the start of the month. It makes it a little bit easier on her, and also, like, that's great. We all get 2 prompts at the beginning of the month, and we can either pick one or pick both. It doesn't matter. And this one's going to be for the prompt of, I think, begin the year with a finish. Actually, I think it goes this way. Actually, I don't remember. No, it goes this way. I'm stitching this on 32 count cobblestone linen, I think, or Lugana. I don't remember. And I picked overdyed floss from my stash. So I already put my initials in, which is cute. My next WIP is Peppermint Candy by Lindy Stitches. This was a recent start on December 8th of 2024. I'm stitching it on the called for linen, which is 32 count chai by Seraphim. And I am doing it with most of the called for floss as well, which is some Forbidden Fiber Co's. And I think I did throw in a Color and Cotton or something, but mostly Forbidden Fiber Co. I'm sitting at 15.9% on this. This will be a finish this year. I'm going to do like a Christmas in July on this and get this finished in July. This one's so fun to stitch on. It's got so many cute little motifs. My next WIP will also be a finish. This is Apothecary Shop by Witchy Stitcher. This was originally released in a box that I have the pattern book somewhere in one of these bags. I'll just pop a picture on the screen. It is available as a PDF now. And I started this August 13th, 2023. This is stitched on 40 count Bronze Age linen from Bestitch Me, which is the called for, but I had happened to get it in a fabric of the month. And I'm at 38% complete on this. I'm not going to take it out of the hoop. I did decide to cut out part of the stitching on this. The outer frame, I'm just not going to do because I don't think it needs it. I can frame it myself in an ornate black, like Halloween gothy frame, and I will be happy with that. So that's what that looks like. It's gorgeous. Lots of back stitching. My next WIP is by Tiny Modernist. This is Moths in the Moon. I started this September 13th, 2024 with a few folks that started to stitch along. I think Marjorie and Tara from Will to Woman Crafts started this. Several other people are stitching on this. I know Amy from Thread Gremlins is almost done with this. My goal this year is to get it to 25%. It's sitting at 10% right now. And I'm stitching it with the called for DMC. I'm gonna backstitch each butterfly as I go. And I'm stitching this on a 40 count piece of Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers, like April Showers, something. It was a fabric of the month. It's gorgeous. My next WIP was an impromptu start this past year. It was also a stitch along, I think partially or wholly hosted by Ali Z's Crafty. This is Unhinged by Stitched It's on Etsy, and I started this July 17th, 2024. It's sitting at 25%. I worked on it on my New Year's Eve 12x12, and this will be a finish for 2025. I've also actually picked it as my other Pick-a-Whip prompt, which is a project you're really excited about. And when I worked on this for my 12x12, I was like I don't want to put this down, but I had to move on to the next project. So I took that as a sign, and I'm going to work on this in January. This is stitched with the called for DMC 2/2 on a plain piece of 32 count white linen. I think by Zweigart. I don't remember. So yeah. My next WIP, this is a recent start. This is Wilding Hill Manor by Little Robin Designs. I started this October 7th, 2024. I'm stitching it on 36 count Mothman linen by Lappin Loops. It is sitting at 10%. I worked on this on my New Year's Eve 12 by 12. And my goal this year is to get it to 25%. And that is where it is sitting. Okay, I think this is my second to last WIP. This is Tomb with a View by Plum Street Samplers. I started this November 4th, 2023. Sorry, that's what it looks like. And I also worked on this in my New Year's Eve 12 by 12. I got it to 10%, so this year I would like to get it to 25% complete. And this is where it's sitting. I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count Duxbury by Fox and Rabbit with my own overdyed color conversion from Stash. I will say this floss for the text is so good. It's a Forbidden Fiber Code that I got from a box. So unfortunately that's all I got for you. And it's not, they don't sell it. It was specifically for a box, I'm pretty sure. So anyways, that's where that's sitting. My goal for this year is to, I think I already said, get it to 25%. Okay, and I think this is my last WIP. I will do a check through, but I haven't shown this on my channel yet. I did start this right before the year ended. This is Quaker Christmas? No. Yeah, Quaker Christmas stocking and sampler. I'm doing the stocking version. This is by Kathy Barrick. I started this December 27th, 2024, and I'm actually gonna do this as the stitch along with Annie over at XO Needle in the Haystack XO, I think. I will tag her down below. She is hosting a stitch along where she's releasing assignments as we go. The first assignment for the stocking was down here. And I actually completed that, and she just, I think yesterday, released the second assignment, which I'm gonna do this week and get that done. I'm stitching this with my own color conversion that I think I showed on my last Flosstube, and I think I'm sitting at like 2% on this or something, but it looks so good. I am stitching this on 20 count oatmeal. Yep, 20 count oatmeal by Fiber on a Whim. It looks so good. Okay, we are done. That was the last WIP. I double checked. I feel like I'm much more organized this year, which is great. I will not talk too much about plans because I already put out a plans video, but I am planning on not starting a lot this year. I want to really focus on my WIPs because I have too many. It's not too many, like obviously it is what it is, but sometimes I do feel like I'm a little bit in WIP debt because I got really excited and started a bunch of things in 2022 and 2023 especially. So honestly, I'm proud of myself this past year not starting over 60 things or whatever I started in 2023. I'm proud of myself for getting progress, getting lots of good big finishes as well, and I hope to do the same thing this year. So if you enjoyed my WIP parade, please leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. I will come back with a regular Flosstube update, I promise, after this video, and I'll talk about kind of what I was up to at the end of the year and get you started with some January stuff, goals, and whatnot. So that is all. I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll see you later. Bye, baby.